Most remote job videos talk about laptops and Wi-Fi. And sure, that's the baseline, but there's a specific category of remote work where the real barrier to entry is not a degree, not years of experience, and not even a certification. It's a microphone, not a $15 headset, not the one built into your laptop. An actual, decent microphone. Today I'm covering 3 legitimate remote jobs where that one piece of equipment is what separates you from applicants who cannot qualify at all. We're talking real roles, real pay structures, and a realistic picture of what it takes to get there. Before we get into them, the standard disclaimer. This video does not guarantee employment, income, or any specific outcome. What these jobs pay depends on your market, your skill level, and the work you put in over time. I'm going to give you accurate information so you can decide if any of this is worth pursuing. That's it. No guarantees, no shortcuts, just useful information. Before we get into the jobs, here's why audio quality matters economically. Certain industries, specifically legal, medical, and AI technology, depend on verbatim accuracy. Every word has to be right. Automated transcription software, even the best versions, tends to land somewhere between 80 and 90% accuracy under ideal conditions. That number drops fast when there is background noise, technical language, or multiple speakers. That gap, the distance between what software can do and what clients actually need, is where human professionals come in. And the professionals who can deliver clean, accurate audio from a home setup are in a different tier than general remote workers. That's what this video is about. The equipment opens the door. Your skill is what keeps you in the room. Let's get into it. Job number 1 is AI voice data collection, sometimes listed as AI trainer, voice data specialist, or linguistic data contributor. Here is what is driving demand for this role. Companies building AI voice technology, for example, voice assistants, speech recognition, and synthetic voice models, need massive amounts of clean human audio to train their systems. They cannot just pull audio from YouTube or podcasts. They need it recorded under controlled conditions, with specific emotional tones, specific phrasing, and zero background interference. That audio has to come from real people, recorded at home on professional-grade equipment. Day to day, this is not complicated work. You read scripts into a microphone. You record yourself speaking with specific emotional tags: authoritative, warm, neutral, excited, empathetic. You submit the files, they get reviewed, and if they pass quality standards, you get paid. Some projects also involve listening to AI-generated audio and rating how natural it sounds. That is the evaluation side of the role. The work is part-time and project-based. You are typically a freelance contractor, not a salaried employee. That means your hours vary, projects have start and end dates, and you are usually working across multiple platforms at once to keep income consistent. Pay depends heavily on what you are recording and who you are as a speaker. Standard American English recordings might bring in around $15 to $20 per hour. If you speak a less common dialect, a specific regional accent, or a language other than English, your rate can increase substantially because those voices are harder for companies to source. For most people starting out, think of this as a supplemental income source while you build your reputation and your portfolio. Some people scale it into consistent part-time work. A few turn it into a primary income. It depends on how many platforms you are active on and how consistently you qualify for projects. There are no guarantees on volume or frequency. This is project-based work. This is where the microphone requirement kicks in. Most AI voice projects will not accept audio recorded on laptop microphones or phone mics. They specify an external microphone is required, and many include test submissions where they evaluate your recording environment before you are approved for paid work. Phone quality matters. A good entry point is a USB condenser microphone in the $100 to $150 range paired with a quiet room. A closet full of clothes is genuinely one of the most effective low-cost recording spaces you can set up. The clothing absorbs reflections. The small space limits echo. You do not need a professional studio. You need a clean, dry signal. Search Indeed and ZipRecruiter for voice data collection and AI voice training. Look at platforms like Lionbridge and TELUS International, both of which regularly hire for these roles. Set up a basic recording space, record a short test clip, and listen back with headphones. If you can hear room reverb or hiss, fix that before you apply. Job number 2 is audiobook narration, primarily through ACX, which is Amazon's audiobook creation exchange. The audiobook market has grown significantly over the past several years, and the production pipeline runs heavily through the independent narrators working from home studios. Authors need their books narrated, and publishers need narrators for catalog titles. ACX is the marketplace that connects them. You audition for projects by submitting a short sample read. If the rights holder selects you, you record the full manuscript, edit the audio, and deliver it to technical spec. Turnaround time depends on the length of the book and your production speed. A full-length nonfiction book might take several weeks. A shorter title might take less. You handle everything: the recording, the noise reduction, the pacing corrections, and the file export. You are essentially running a small audio production operation from your home. This is not passive income, it is skilled, time-intensive work. But it is work you can do entirely on your own schedule from your own space. ACX offers 2 models. The first is a flat fee, where the author pays you a set amount per finished hour of audio. The second is royalty share, where you receive a percentage of the book sales over time instead of upfront payment. Flat fee rates for experienced narrators typically range from $100 to $400 per finished hour of audio. A finished hour of audio takes considerably more than 1 hour to produce. Most narrators estimate 2 to 3 hours of studio time per finished hour. When you factor in retakes and editing, royalty share can be worth pursuing for books with strong marketing behind them, but it is speculative. New narrators often start there to build their sample catalog and get experience. Building this into consistent income takes time. Most narrators spend the first several months auditioning frequently and landing a handful of smaller projects. Momentum builds as your profile accumulates, completed titles, and positive reviews. A CX publishes technical specifications. Your audio has to meet specific noise floor, peak, and RMS standards. The noise floor requirement alone is stricter than what a standard USB microphone can reliably achieve in a typical home environment. To meet a CX standards consistently, most narrators use an XLR condenser microphone connected to an audio interface, plus some form of acoustic treatment in their space. A basic professional setup for this purpose runs somewhere between $400 and $800 for the hardware. You will also want a digital audio workstation, which is the software you use for recording and editing. Audacity is free and functional. Adobe Audition and Logic Pro are paid options with more capabilities. This is one of the higher hardware investment roles on this list. But unlike skills that can become obsolete, audio production skills compound over time. Go to acx.com and create a narrator profile. Browse available titles and submit auditions. Start with shorter books while you develop your workflow. Familiarize yourself with ACX technical requirements before you record anything, so you are building good habits from the start. A simple starter test is to record in your quietest room. If the recording meets basic noise requirements, you are ready to explore this path further. Job number 3 is voice writing, a method of court reporting. This is often called voice writing. Most people picture court reporters using stenography machines, those specialized keyboards that let reporters type in shorthand at high speed. Voice writing is a different approach to the same job. Instead of typing, the voice writer speaks everything they hear into a specialized microphone enclosure called a stenamask in real time. The speech recognition software converts their voice into a written transcript as the proceeding happens. This is legitimate professional court reporting. It produces official legal records. It is used in courtrooms, depositions, arbitration hearings, and legal proceedings across the country. The voice writer attends a legal proceeding, either in person or remotely, and silently revoices every word spoken by every participant into the steno mask. The mask fits over the mouth and is designed to prevent anyone in the room from hearing the reporter, while also blocking ambient noise from reaching the microphone inside. The software does the initial transcription. The reporter then reviews, corrects, and finalizes the transcript. For clients who need real-time feeds, when the transcript appears on screens for attorneys and judges as testimony is being given, the accuracy and speed requirements are even higher. This is highly skilled work. It is not data entry. It requires significant training, speed development, and in many cases, professional certification. Voice writers who work in legal settings, particularly in federal courts or on deposition work, are among the higher earners in the remote transcription category. National average figures for voice writers in the United States hover around $100,000 annually, with significant variation by location and specialty. Freelance court reporters often charge per page of transcript, which means higher volume proceedings and faster turnaround requests translate directly to higher income. Some reporters work for court reporting agencies as contractors. Others build their own client base over time. This is not a quick path. The training alone takes from 6 to 12 months, and building a client base takes longer. But the long-term ceiling is meaningfully higher than most remote roles at this barrier to entry. The steno mask itself is the primary equipment investment. These are specialized devices, not general consumer microphones, and they run several $100s for a quality unit. You will also need speech recognition software, specifically Dragon Professional, and a CAT system, computer-aided transcription. The software stack is a real cost to factor in. On the positive side, once your equipment is set up and your training is complete, your overhead is low. You are not driving to an office. You are not paying for a commercial space. You are working from a quiet room. Look into certificate programs at institutions like Alfred State College or the International Real-Time Court Reporting Institute. These are programs specifically designed for voice writing, not traditional stenography. They cover legal terminology, courtroom procedure, speed building, and the technical operation of the software you will use professionally. After completing a program, look into certification through the National Verbatim Reporters Association. Certification opens doors to higher paying work, including federal contracts. Let me be straightforward with you about what all three of these jobs have in common. They share a common barrier, and that matters. None of them produce overnight income. The microphone gets you qualified. The skill is what gets you paid consistently, and skill takes time to develop. The AI voice work is the fastest to access, but it is project-based and variable. Audiobook narration has a real earning ceiling, but it requires a learning curve on both the technical and performance sides. Voice writing is the longest path and the highest investment, but it leads to one of the more stable, well-compensated professional tracks available in remote work without a 4-year degree. Pick one. Go deep on it. Do not spread yourself thin, trying all three at once. Your results will depend on the market, the effort you put in, and how honestly you assess your own progress. These are realistic paths, not promises. If you are curious where to start, here is one action you can take today. Find the quietest room or closet in your home. Hold your phone up, hit record, and listen back with earbuds. What you hear is roughly what a basic microphone would capture. If it sounds clean and quiet, you are already ahead of most people. If it sounds roomy or buzzy, you know what you are working toward. That is your baseline. If this was useful, subscribe. Every week, I put out videos on legitimate remote opportunities. The kind worth actually applying for. No hype, just the real picture. I'll see you in the next one.